Hi, my name is Amy Bolter and I lead our scaling business segment for Salesforce, Australia and New Zealand. I'm joined today by Brad and Anthony. Can you introduce yourselves?
Thanks, Amy. Brad Young. I'm the Chief Grout Officer at the Grout Guy.
Hi everyone, I'm Anthony Messina. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at the Grout Guy.
For those that don't know the Grout Guy story, can you give us a little bit of background about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I started as a one-man in a van sort of deal, Colin's Diary, and the carbon copy invoice pad I bought along as props. That was 19 years ago, and over the past, 6 years now with Salesforce, we've turned into the Agentic Tradie, and we're moving forward.
Well, so you haven't aged a day in those 19 years. Can you talk to us about what the day-to-day was like back then?
So the Colin's Diary is sitting on the dash of a van, if everyone can imagine that and see it. And then the Gregory, or the UBD, sitting on the steering wheel as you drive around. There's no Google Maps, right? That was the day-to-day. I used to leave the phone at home and answer all the voicemails when I got home. The day-to-day now versus then, very different. It's more sitting behind a desk and looking at screens, looking at dashboards. Very nice dashboards, mind you. Thank you, Anthony.
Our previous system wasn't letting us really scale and continue to grow, so we need something a bit better. Moved to Salesforce. We had this 1-to-1 dispatcher to technician kind of ratio. We're now looking more like 1 to 25, right? And so one dispatcher can handle 25 techs on the road. All of our team live in Salesforce every day. So if they're in the office, they're using Salesforce. If they're people out on the road, they're using Salesforce, which gives us, a really streamlined operations, but it also makes the team just more empowered with the right information for the job.
Now, you've spoken about the fact that you used to equip your tradespeople with a screenshot of a calendar every morning with their job list. How do they work now?
This is kind of interesting because we found out recently from a Salesforce post that it takes an average of 15 minutes for a human to book an appointment, right? Now, one of these dispatchers, they can run the scheduling engine in field service, and appointments are optimized for the technicians. And so as a tech, it's easy. I load up my field service mobile app. I've got my appointments for the day. I can use something like a pre-work brief to get context of what I'm doing before I head there. I can play it in the car, so really little downtime. I've got my field service app, so I can quickly work through what I have to do. I can take photos of the jobs, and it's all just in their app. So very, very streamlined. There's no chasing around with the Collins, trying to match it up with whoever else is in the area. I don't have to worry about dropping off my invoicing pad so the accounts can be reconciled. It's all just online, instant, accessible.
Can you talk to us around what does the customer lifecycle look like now?
So lead comes in via usually web form or even Grouty. Grouty comes through. We have an AI scan all the pictures to see if the job is suitable or not, so that will qualify that lead. From a customer point of view, they don't really see anything apart from submitting their information. The agents work in the background. He triages the lead and then the case. From that point, they can now schedule as well. From there we quote the job. That's still a manual process, hopefully to be AI not automated but assisted, I guess, in the future. And then obviously the job. Take the old Grout out and put the new Grout in.
How is shifting to the Agentic model really allowed you to grow from when you were one man to 5 people to now close to 200 without crumbling the back office and having mass changes within your admin team?
And look, this is really one of the key powers of agents, right? You've trained your agent. It can be deployed and you're good to go. And sure, you're going to iterate over it and make it better as you go through. However, if you think about training a dispatcher, that's very labor intensive, right? And there's always going to be change of staff and turnover. And so if we're talking about scale and growth, using agents is quite empowering in that regard. Yeah, there's an element of building up trust amongst the team in using AI tools. And that's been progressing really, really well because it is a focus on empowering the team. It's AI assistance. And so we would like to continue helping the team to, reduce those pain points. That's from an internal perspective. I guess there's also, you think of it from the customer side and how the business has changed. And in the Agentic era, it's 24/7 coverage, right? So from a customer journey perspective, it revolutionizes what's possible for a service company.
And can you talk to us around some of the metrics that you've achieved even in the early stages?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 5 agents working across our production org. For instance, our lead qualification agent has increased the conversion rate there by 2% odd. Our case agent, which helps to triage cases and prioritize them, has helped reduce the case resolution time by 50%, which is massive. The team process 2,000 odd emails a week, and so that's high impact, really high impact. The case agent also does work order processing, so we get PDFs coming in from our B2B clients, and then rather than having someone sit there 15 minutes, check for duplicates, create some records in Salesforce, and again, only during business hours, agent does it 24/7 within 2 minutes. And so that's thousands of hours saved over the year just from data entry. We've also got massive savings of scheduling because we're offering 24/7 scheduling via an agent. That's like 2 million wages. It's insane. Yeah.
And are your staff happier? The admin team, they're not turning over, they're enjoying work more, right?
It's the low-hanging fruit. Those low-value tasks are all now automated. There's very few. There are obviously edge cases. They come up, and when they do, they get flagged, and we deal with them. From a customer point of view, it's great. They shouldn't even really notice it. It should just be really good customer service. And then internally, from the management team to the field staff doing the work, if they can not have to communicate as many times per day because they've got the knowledge articles in Agentforce on their phone, it just saves a lot of headaches, a lot of back and forth. If you've got to call someone, they don't answer, Agentforce is always there.
Now, we know that agents are only as good as the data behind them. Can you talk to us around your approach about what happened when you adopted Data 360?
During the Salesforce implementation process, the goal was to have the team living on platform exclusively, right? And so the team do live entirely within Salesforce, which means the majority of our data is there. However, it's not all of it. And so this is where Data Cloud comes in really, really handy. So we can look at things like the Shopify data. We can hook that in to see, what are some of the trends there. We can hook in other sources as well. And so when it comes to building out agents, your data quality in determines the quality of the output. And so when you look at it from the lens of, okay, I've got Salesforce, I've got my Customer 360, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. You've got your data in one place, and of course it's all really clean because you've got lovely validation rules and all that jazz. I would really focus on getting the data right before doing the AI development, but noting that it is a lot easier being on Salesforce.
Anthony, one of the standout metrics that you talk to is the processing time for PDF and work orders through real estate agents. It's an important part of your business. It's also a high volume part of the business. Can you talk to us around how you went from 2 days to 2 minutes?
Absolutely, yeah. So we get a lot of business-to-business work. So, real estate agencies with properties will reach out and say, hey, I've got a work request, and here's a PDF. It's got some tenant information. It's got some addresses, blah, blah, blah. Now, previously that would take an admin team member or 15 minutes to process because I have to do duplicate management, check, create the records, etc. So we've trained our case agent to read those PDFs using good logic to actually do the duplicate management as well and then create those records. And so we can see that time has dropped from 15 minutes to 2 minutes. And not only that, it's the time that we actually get to it as well, because previously, before our case triage agent, it was all just first in, first out. So having a combination of cases being triaged accordingly, plus our PDFs being processed by Agentforce, we've dropped that from maybe 1-2 business days and 15 minutes processing time to 24/7 within 2 minutes, 20 all the time. And that's kind of driven us into about thousands of hours, or a bit over 1,000 hours, I should say, saved over the year, and a lot of money.
Now, you've reported a massive jump in your conversion rates, from the low 30s to over 50% now. Can you talk us through the process of conversion improvement?
So in the beginning, or when we first came over to Salesforce, the sales cycle was very long. I guess we had someone call in for a lead, or email in for a lead, or web form for a lead. Then we may not get back to them for quite some time. We've lost the lead. That's where this number comes from, right? So these days,
speed to lead.
Speed to lead, right? So now we can basically take someone from a lead all the way through to the booking of that estimate quote without any human interaction.
Now, you've done the hard lessons, you've done the work, you've made the blueprint for the Grout Guy. You've realised that, hey, you've got a solid use case here, and now you're launching Servly. This is the blueprint for the rest of the tradie industry. How does Agentforce Field Service act as the foundation for the next era of the Agentic tradie?
Well, sort of what we just talked about, right? With speed to quote, speed to job. No one has got anything like Field Service's scheduling engine. It's an absolute ripper. We're miles ahead of anyone else. So with that, you talk about how we're going to impact it. Well, yeah, from 10 years ago, all the big tech's been hidden away, or not hidden, it's out of reach for so many small businesses and trade businesses. And I'm a strong believer in sharing it. If we can enable more trade businesses to have the systems and processes and agents to increase efficiency, increase sales, make better customer experience, it's just a win-win.
You're now launching Servly to take to all other trades. Can you talk to us around what is the blueprint for tradies that want to follow in your footsteps?
Sure, so Servly, we launched it on the back of why should big tech be only for the big guys? We wanted to share or give back what we've built. We realized that there's so many people that could win out of this, and I think that's an important thing. Customers are going to have a much better interaction with tradie companies. Trade people that are working for trade companies are going to be happier. Admin staff will be happier.
Thank you so much to Anthony Messina and Brad Young from the Grout Guy and Servly for joining us here today and for sharing their story at Agentforce World Tour.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys.